Greetings, everyone, and welcome to episode 21 of Teaching Tales. I am once again your host, Brent Coley, and joining me today, again, we have our second returning guest, Jennifer Wagner. Jen, how are you?
I'm doing fine. Good. Hi, everybody.
Yes, Jen is back. Jen was our very first guest. If you have not listened to episode 1, we talked about students noticing everything and the great impact that we have and responsibility that we have as teachers, because our kids notice everything, good and bad. If you haven't listened to that, not now, you got to finish this episode, but then later go back to episode 1. But I wanted to have, Jen, have another chat with you because I always enjoy our chats. Whenever we head to conferences, we often carpool to our local affiliate conferences, but I wanted to talk today. We have had other episodes. Tony Vincent and I talked about it. Rushton Hurley and I in one of our episodes. We talked about connecting with others, connecting with students, connecting with teachers, and that is one of your specialties. So I wanted to sit down again and have a chat and talk about connecting, because one of your specialties is online projects. And I wanted to, because you have had a huge impact with teachers and students, not just the country, it's the world, huh? Mm-hmm. Okay. And you're going to be it's okay. I don't want you to feel like you're tooting your own horn. I'm going to toot your horn for you. But because the whole point of this is I want to share the good ideas that you have, because one of my teachers here at Alta, Donna Hansen, did one of your projects this year. So for anyone who's not familiar with an online project, tell them what is an online project and how have you incorporated those into your teaching?
Well, if I could give a quick little...
Back it up? Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
There is project-based learning, and then there's projects. Mm-hmm. And mine are more projects. Mine are not going to change the world. Mine are going to change maybe a classroom, maybe a learning environment. Mm-hmm. But when mine they're not simplistic, meaning they're like easy, but they're not as in-depth as a project-based learning. Okay. I like to say that first because
little disclaimer.
There could be quite a discussion, you know.
And real quickly, I totally neglected, what's your position in terms of what do you teach? Because I know I
teach students.
You teach students. That's a good start.
At a private Christian school in Southern California. I teach, this year, I taught K-6 technology. Next year, I'm doing K-8 technology. Okay. So I get to go with my 6th and 7th, my 6th graders up next year to help a little bit. What we do in our technology lab is so wonderful, and so we want to continue it on.
Awesome.
To the upper grades. So that's what I do.
Very good. So sorry
my day job.
For the little interruption. So you're on the side, your projects. You have hosted online
over 60 projects. Oh no, probably over 80 now since 1999. Wow. Yeah, it started as just a little, I was trying to collect information for a science fair project for my kids, and I wanted to give an example of how they collect data online, and this is 1999. Mm-hmm. So I sent out an email to a ed tech group I belong to and expected 5 responses on how people eat an Oreo cookie, and I got 150. Wow. And so the next year I thought, well, let's do this again. And so this year it's going to be our 18th year of hosting the cookie project. So
when you say a project, because again, this is a way, like you mentioned, for classrooms around the country or world to participate together in the same type of project. So for the cookie project,
they're stacking twice.
I'm a 5th grade teacher. Yeah. What would my class do?
You go out and buy 3 bags of Oreos.
Okay.
You give your students 2 chances to stack as high as they can, 1 cookie at a time with one hand. You write down the highest stack each student did, and then you average your class results, and you submit your class results. That's the easiest thing to do.
Okay.
If you want to take it a step farther, we have the sculpture project that you take the insides of the Oreo cookie and the outside of the Oreo cookie, and you make an art project. and apps. Some of them have been
that's
unbelievably pretty. It's messy, but it's fun.
And then they take the teacher take pictures and submit that to you, and whether it's the data, so the data goes into a spreadsheet,
Google Doc,
okay.
Google form,
Google form, which then populates a spreadsheet.
Well, in 1999 to about 2004, it came through an Excel document, so I was typing everything in. Once Google Forms happened, projects got a lot simpler. Yeah. And then if you want to take it a step further too, you can, one of my friends who I met by hosting a project, Paula Noggle, who's in Louisiana, they get together with Skype and they have simultaneous stacking competitions with other classrooms. Yeah. So, I mean, you can take it from just you buy the Oreos, your class stacks the Oreos, you submit to connecting with another class.
And once the data is submitted to you, do you then send out like the average, like this is the average height of
Actually, I make a graph and I have this little Oreo graphic. So all the bar graphs have these little Oreos that are stacked, and they're stacked exactly one per one. So teachers are also learning, if they wish, how to customize graphs so they're not just the graph that the computer makes for you, color coding. It lasts about 4 to 6 weeks, so I'm pretty busy for about 4 to 6 weeks of collecting the data. But again, with Google Docs, it's made it so easy. I was hosting up to 8 projects a year, and I could do it because, I'm sorry, Google Docs are just sort of a gift from Google.
Yes,
they very much so.
I concur.
Yes, I mean the holiday card project can have 25,000 classrooms, and I don't even blink an eye.
So tell me about, because one of my teachers, I believe, participated in that. Natalie, thanks if you're listening, Natalie. You're the bomb. What? Tell us about what do you do in that project?
You sign up for the project.
Actually, and Donna did this one. Donna did this one as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Donna did the O.R.E.O project too,
okay,
about 6 years ago. The holiday card project, you're paired up with 29 other classrooms, and basically you send a holiday card to each class on your list, and they send you a holiday card as well. So not only are your students learning to address and to create a card, and addressing an envelope is something students don't know how to do.
Not something they do very often. You're right.
And they don't know their addresses a lot, or their school address, which maybe they don't need to know. But addressing an envelope, getting mail is something students don't get as much anymore. So students are very excited to get that. But beyond that, it also becomes a geography project.
Okay. I was just going to ask in terms of like the curricular connection to it. So geography, to see where are we sending it.
And the projects all align with the ISTE student standards and the ISTE teacher standards and Common Core right now too. So if teachers have to look and say, oh, I can only do a project if it aligns with standards, I do my best for that too.
That's awesome. Because you've mentioned with Google Docs and forms and sheets, this has made you as the organizer, it's very easy to collect this kind of data from everybody.
I make a Google slide. Is that what they're called? Google Slides?
Google Slides,
And I share out the link, and people add pictures to the PowerPoint and information, and all I did was share the link, and I check it every so often to make sure everyone's on the up and up, and yeah.
Because I know that in terms of, as I mentioned at the top of the broadcast, that some of Twitter and Pinterest and Facebook and things like that have made it so easy for teachers to connect with each other. But this is a way easy for a teacher, because you're doing all the work. Well, Google's doing all the work.
Yes.
I mean, you are. For anyone listening, Jen is doing a lot of work on this. Yes, Google has streamlined the process, but you do a ton of work here. But for a teacher who's listening, thinking, "Oh, I'd love to be a part of that," we're talking a minimal investment.
Yeah, they do have to. One thing I'm not doing, and perhaps I might do in the future, is, especially with these projects, is when you register for the project, there's a area on the form that says, I would like to connect with another teacher. So far, what I've done is I've made a spreadsheet of everyone who said, yes, I want to connect with another teacher, shared that out to all the teachers who said they wanted to connect, and then said, go ahead and connect.
Oh. What?
So I'm not like pairing teachers together. And right now, hosting 8 projects a year, it wasn't on my to-do list.
Sure.
It was a bit too much. But I think the teachers that want to connect will make that extra effort.
You're giving
connect.
them that, wow, I've got this, let's just say it's a 5-page spreadsheet of educators all over
There's
the country.
probably 150 names on it.
150 names. I mean, because you and I, we were talking before we started recording about like mystery Skype. If anyone who is listening, mystery Skype or mystery Hangout, if you're going to use a Google Hangout, where you have a classroom, you have another classroom somewhere else in the country and or world, and you basically, the students in each class have to try to decide where the other class is located. And it's like 20 questions. One class will ask a question, hey, are you east of the Mississippi River? And they'll say, the other class will say, yes. Okay, so now the class is working on their maps and their atlases and everything to try, okay, we can cross out the western part of the United States, and then the other class asks a question. But one of the hardest things is, who do I connect with? How do I find somebody who would be willing to do that? Your spreadsheet there, now you got 150 names of somebody who has said, I'm interested in connecting with somebody.
And you see grade level, and you see area, and you see time zone, so you get to choose.
And I have had one of our 5th grade teachers has done this. One of our 1st grade teachers has done this. I mean, our
but it's even beyond location. I just recently saw a mystery Skype that I was involved with. That it was a book, and it was Guess the Character, and you had to figure out. And we did To Kill a Mockingbird. And it was so interesting to narrow it down to who the character was.
To ask, did they know which book it?
Yeah, we both
so
knew.
You said this is the book, and
we both knew the book, and you could not choose Atticus or Scout or Jem.
Wow! And
I did Capernia,
okay,
and the other person did Robinson.
And you just had to answer questions.
Yes or
and
no.
doing something like that, you would actually have to know the character to be able to answer.
Robinson,
to be able to answer the questions that the other class is going to ask you. And I've seen a similar thing done. I saw it at Scott Bedley, and I think I want to say Joanne Fox did a Q session, Computer Using Educators Conference on mystery. I can't even remember what it was called, but it was like guess the occupation. It was like mystery occupation.
You can mystery anything.
Where they had somebody on, and the class had to ask questions to try to guess, what does this person do? And you're using clues of like, well, there's a bike. I see that there's a bike in the background. I mean, the office the person was sitting in, and
that's cool.
It was really. I mean, we had adults, and we were playing as adults, but what a great opportunity for students to learn questioning techniques.
And they have to know not just their information on their person or their location or their national park or their president or their number. Even with little kids, if you do mystery number, learning even odds.
Well, yeah.
Quarters, halves.
Going back to the mystery Skype, like where is the other class located? I mean, you're teaching kids that your first question is not be, are you in Texas? Okay, that's a 1 out of 50. It's like, okay, can we in our first question, can we narrow it down? Can we eliminate half of the choices? Or like you said, if it's 1 to 100, are you even? No. Okay, we have just eliminated 50% of our choices, and now we can go. Now we can go from there. So now going back to your projects, share, because this podcast is called Teaching Tales, and you have taught via online projects. Can you share a story, somebody who has emailed you, and just, I know that, because again, some of my teachers have done this, and they have shared that this has had a very positive impact. Can you share someone who was emailed to you and said, hey, Jen, thanks, I mean, anything that you think somebody would benefit from hearing?
I've been blessed by receiving a lot of thanks. I think one of the biggest thanks I ever received was 2 years ago. I got an email from a student who had done the project in 5th grade, and she was now a teacher. And the first thing she wanted to do with her class was participate in the project. So that was, I have goosebumps right now.
Yeah, me too.
That was kind of huge. She went into teaching with the goal of doing the project. So that was transformation. That was, every so often you wonder what you do, and you wonder, am I making a difference?
How much difference am I making? Yeah.
And sometimes it's easy to feel like a teeny tiny fish kind of thing, and you don't want to be a big fish, but you want to be,
Yeah.
And so that was I have put together a couple of Jan Wells and Paula Nagel have met because of a project that I introduced them to. I have some people that have done 18 years of projects with me. I've been very blessed, and people are very, very kind, and they're kind to say thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is the previous episode 20 with John Ike was all about the power of saying thank you, because how many 18 years you've done this? 19 years?
Yeah, 1999. And I can tell you just real quick, for those of you who are listening, one thank you can sustain someone for a year.
And that's just what I was going to say, is I can pretty safely say 1999 is when you started. You would not still be doing this. And I may be wrong, but I'm going to go out on a limb. You would not be doing this if you had not gotten any kind of, you're not doing it for the kudos. You're not doing it for adulation or for the thank you. That being said, when you get an email that says, "Hey Jen, thanks. I appreciate you doing this," it buoys you. I like to use that word. It buoys you. It's like, wow, it worked. Almost like the starfish. Well, I made a difference for that teacher, and that one teacher who did it as a student and is now a teacher and is doing it again. Yeah, again, going back to, if you see something like this, the power of a thank you is immeasurable. I mean, you can't quantify how much of a difference, because you never know where that person is at that point. It's like that might be exactly what he or she needed to hear at that exact moment. So
buoy's a good word.
Buoy is a good word. I love how John Ike, he talked about, like, in the storm, a buoy, it may go down, but boop, it's going to pop back up. I mean, it was a great way that he talked about that in episode 20. So hopefully anyone listening is like, ooh, tell me more about these projects. Because, again, I think a lot of teachers out there, we're so busy. Teachers have so much on their plate. And I think the thing that I want to reinforce is an online project like this, like what you are hosting, it's not a brick in terms of the weight and size that you would be adding to the plate. It would be a very small thing that could help engage your students in something that's fun, that's global. Tell somebody who's thinking, yeah, I'd like to try something like this. Where do they go?
You go to projectsbyjen.com. 3 of the projects are seasonal. So if things may be changing this next year, but I have gotten some people that are going to be hosting 2 of my projects. So, for instance, the St. Patrick's Day project, which is the Lucky Charms project, happens the week of St. Patrick's Week, which is a crazy week. So you're getting your kids involved in math and graphing and grouping. The Pumpkin Seed project, which happens the week of Halloween, which is a crazy week anyway. So a couple of the projects are based around your week's chaotic, so throw learning in a fun way. And the holiday card as well
is holiday. And the Lucky Charm one, that's where they're counting the
marshmallows,
how many different colored marshmallow. Again, I love Lucky Charms. I would do that project just to eat the marshmallows when we were done. So so that's Projects by Jen,
.com.
Yep. And you've got a blog on there.
Yeah, projectsbyjen.com/blog. That's more my personal thoughts more than project thoughts, but yeah.
And if somebody wanted to connect with you via Twitter,
Jen Wagner.
at Jen Wagner. And I can tell you she's got good stuff, and your blog is good.
Thank you.
Your blog is more than once I have read your blog, and it's exactly what I needed to hear at that time. So you if you like blogs and you like real blogs,
Thank you.
That's what you do. So anyone out there, projectsbyjen.com. It's good stuff. Great ways to connect with other classrooms in an easy, non-threatening. Jen's doing all the work, or now you've got some people going to be helping you, and Google is doing a lot of the heavy lifting. So once again, thank you for listening.
Well, thank you. I always enjoy chatting with you.
Absolutely. So, and for anyone out there, thank you for listening. Again, this podcast is sponsored by my wife. See, Jen was looking at me like, "Why, you have a sponsor now?" No, I don't have a monetary sponsor. I have my wonderful wife who listens to every episode and gives me feedback. Jill, I love you, babe. And if you have not subscribed, make sure to subscribe in iTunes and or Google Play, because then you don't even have to check. It'll just pop up on your phone. You'll be ready to go. And speaking of thank you, if this has helped you out in any way, drop us a review, drop us a like on iTunes. We would appreciate it. And as always, thank you for listening. Until next time, have a good one.